Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today, we're going to start it off from USA Today. And first, let me thank all you guys for your continued support across New Tech as well as here on YouTube. If you are new to the channel, welcome. What we do here on the BuzWeaver channel is we take the difficult, the complicated, the tumult, the confusion, and break it down in a way that anyone and everyone can understand. And as we talked about here many times on the BuzWeaver channel, we try to stay on the cutting edge, try to give you guys ideas and concepts of what to expect, what could potentially happen, as we have covered the protests in Hong Kong, which led into the pandemic information that we could see. We were connecting the dots and giving people direction. And right now, the way things are unfolding, as we're seeing things unfold here in Israel, this could lead to an escalation that the governments often feel that they have control over, because whether it's Hamas or Hezbollah, these people are unpredictable. These people are irrational when it comes to the way they conduct themselves and the way they feel towards Israel. So we're getting into this early just to let everyone know that we could be looking at the tipping point or a potential powder keg there in Israel, particularly as we read here from USA Today. 2,000 U.S. troops told to prepare to deploy in response to Israel-Hamas war. Now, 2,000 troops may not sound like a lot. However, we also have aircraft carriers moving into the region as well, as we have talked about here on the channel. President Joe Biden will travel to Israel and Jordan this week in a show of solidarity and to meet with both Israeli and Arab leadership and growing concerns over the escalating violence in the Middle East. Now, you may recall, as we talked about here on the channel, under Donald Trump's peace through strength, we didn't have any new wars. No new wars under Donald Trump, peace through strength. And since Joe Biden has taken office, we're already at we're at the third stage of Americans being part of a war or being held hostage, or in particular in Israel they are. But we saw it with Afghanistan, we saw it in Sudan, and now we're seeing it in Israel. And it's just amazing to me how people keep trying to tell me Russia and China were, Donald Trump was the puppet of Russia and China. Well, puppets don't allow their operators to do things. And that was not happening under Donald Trump. He was creating a deterrent. That is a true sign of someone who is not a puppet, when you are creating deterrents. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken announced Biden's visit ahead of a possible Israeli ground invasion of Gaza aimed at crushing the Hamas militant group. The trip comes a week and a half after Hamas incursion on Israel that has killed over 4,000 on both sides and displaced hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. He is coming here at a critical moment for Israel, for the region, and for the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to raise any alarms here. I'm simply saying that we're looking at a situation. Since Joe Biden has taken office, as I said, this will be the third time where Americans have been part of or involved in some sort of war or some sort of military action where some of them are trapped and or hostages in regions of the world. And this isn't a simple bypass that you can just dismiss what's happening right now. Because remember, when we started covering Hong Kong, protests in Hong Kong, not a lot of people were particularly interested about it until they started learning about the pneumonia out of there, which obviously ended up being the pandemic. But just to give you an idea, because there's a lot of conversation happening right now among many political figures, among commentary individuals, and even Tim Pool, concerned that this could escalate, because what we're seeing in the north of Israel as Hezbollah in Lebanon, having incursions on Israel, as well as missiles, thousands of missiles aimed at Israel from Lebanon, which could create a massive, major problem. Because if Israel is backed into a corner, if they are painted into a corner, they're gonna go with what is called the Samson maneuver, or something to that effect, right? The Samson option, which means they could go nuclear. So it's important that Everyone pay very close attention. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play some clips from 60 Minutes, and Donald Trump has mentioned this many times during his past rallies here, that when he's interviewed by the media, it's a totally different situation with totally different questions. Because what the media is going to do here in the 60-minute piece is they're going to fluff everything for Joe Biden, and well, I'll just let you guys see it. It's agonizing to watch this, but I want you guys to see it with me.
The president is asking for billions of dollars for Israel and Ukraine, but Congress is paralyzed. Hard-right Republicans are obstructing the election of a Speaker of the House.
Hard right. There we go again, using that language again. So basically what they're doing here is they're framing things. They're trying to always make it look as though the Republicans are doing something ineffectively. They're not getting along with Democrats. Because, see, it's always about getting along with the left. It's always about getting along with the Democrats. They're never wrong. You know, they're never the ones at fault. They're never the ones that are holding things back on purpose and making things impractical. No, it's always the Republicans, just like with Donald Trump, which is the emphasis of this particular interview.
Does the dysfunction that we've seen in Congress increase the danger in the world?
See, again, framing. This is the annoying, irritating thing about the mainstream media. The language they use, they're setting everything up. They're setting up the opinions you should have. They're setting up the emotions you should have. They're setting up the thoughts you should have. This is just all leading. And now they're going to let Joe Biden, who can barely complete a sentence, try to then just anchor what they're saying.
Yes. Look, this is not your father's Republican Party. 30% of it is made up of these MAGA Republicans who are maybe, democracy is something they don't look at it the same way you and I look at democracy.
See, he can't even articulate what he's trying to say here. Basically, he wants to blame MAGA Republicans or MAGA people, which of course associates to Donald Trump, because that's what they do. They do guilt by association.
Are the wars in Israel and Ukraine more than the United States can take on at the same time?
We're the United States of America, for God's sake. The most powerful nation in the history, not in the world, in the history of the world. The history of the world.
So that's the lead-in with the Establishment Uni-party. That's what the Establishment Uni-party is feeding Joe Biden. Because, again, we're talking about Donald Trump, who said peace through strength, where Joe Biden is now taking on a position of posturing. And, you know, he's using a Western mindset with this thing instead of trying to deal with things on a cultural level, which President Trump was doing and succeeding at.
We can take care of both of these and still maintain our overall international defense.
Russia's unprovoked invasion occupies nearly 20% of Ukraine. Hundreds of thousands have been killed or wounded. In an interview last month, President Volodymyr Zelensky told us he could lose without U.S. aid. How do these wars in Israel and Ukraine relate to the safety of the American people?
Overwhelmingly, they relate. For example, in Ukraine,
Another lead-in question to allow Joe Biden to elaborate and come across as being in control, being measured, exercising decorum, putting people's minds at ease. It's just insufferable.
my objectives was to prevent Putin, who has committed war crimes himself, from being able to occupy an independent country that borders NATO allies and is on the Russian border. Imagine what happens now if he were able to succeed. Have you ever known a major war in Europe we didn't get sucked into? We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure those democracies are sustained.
Okay, again, the man can't complete sentences, much less articulate things. And here he is. He's given the opportunity. He's given the floor here. Something they would never do to Donald Trump. As a matter of fact, they interrupt Trump more often than they allow him to speak. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, you guys following me here on the BuzWeaver channel. I appreciate your guys' support, the likes, the shares, and the comments. A lot of us as YouTubers are struggling quite a bit, and it isn't necessarily that we're not producing content or not producing enough out there to get everything going. It's just the way YouTube is working and the way of the world right now. And And so I just want to let everyone know to be vigilant, be aware that we can see a level of escalation here. And we don't know where it's going to go, because a year from now, we're going to be in an election with Donald Trump. And the Establishment Uni-party loves their war machine. They like the chaos. They like the disorder. They need it. This is how they stay in control. It's to make it. It's the Hegelian right. It's the Hegelian philosophy here, that you create a situation or a problem that only you say have the answer to. Right. The Hegelian dialectic. You create an issue that only you can solve, and allow people to believe that you are that the government is needed to make sure that these problems and issues are addressed. So I just wanted to let you guys know, it's very late at night here, but I just wanted to let you guys know what to be looking for, and we'll continue to keep an eye on this. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. And of course, if you're watching on New Tech, thank you for your guys' support. Appearing there on the screen, that will be the channel icon. You guys can click on to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.